Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari, and my guest this morning is Mr. Vincent Wani. Mr. Vincent Wani is an economist and investment specialist. Thank you very much, and good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Well, it's cheering news because we have our own version of, we have Nigeria first. And where we first heard that in relation to a country was America first, make America great again on one hand, and then America first. So apparently there are gains to be had from such a policy. The president is putting Nigeria first in banning the procurement of foreign goods that can be produced locally or that are available, locally. First of all, give me your impression about this, because I think it's a new thing. No, it's not. But the implementation is the matter. Because if one goes back down memory lane, we have tried this before, but it didn't seem to work out, in the sense that we're still seeing a lot of things that were produced, that exist abroad and happen to be produced locally, but people keep on going for, the abroad production. The most obvious one, I think, is cars. We have our own cars here, whether you want to call them assembled or whatever, but there are cars here. Do cars qualify for this whole idea before we get into the science that you're going to be talking about?
In one soup, you asked dozens of questions. But the first that really resonates with me is the Nigeria First mantra. And it's good to copy. One of my old teachers is saying, please, it's good to copy. But when you copy, ensure that you paste special.
but jokes apart, and as you said, there were a flurry of things that I just added to that one. So if I could separate them, maybe before we go to your preference, do cars qualify?
It's not always good to answer a pointed question pointedly, especially when you are on air. Yes or no? Yes or no. And why I said that is that the Nigeria First, the new or refreshed mantra is built on reducing or stopping importation of things that are available locally. Are all types of cars available or vehicles available in Nigeria? The answer is no.
No.
That is why I say yes and no.
But are some available?
But some are available. For instance, the SUV that can convey our legislators, whether state level and federal level, are available in Nigeria. That can move them from their office to their house, and from their house to the project site to where they have, they are quite available in Nigeria. And how many senators do we have? We have about 109, if I'm correct. House of Assembly for federal, 360. Then if you now look at each state, let's even agree that on the average, we have 20 assembly members in each state times 36. So you can see
it's quite sizable.
That's quite sizable. Assuming if every 4 years or every 2 years, I can't remember when they will change their SUV. And it's not just one, you have the Hilux in front, the main one, the other one, and the other one. Assuming we're going to give them like 1,500 SUVs and they're procured or assembled in Nigeria, that clearly funds assembling plants in Nigeria, give people job, transfer of skills and everything. So that is why I say that I clearly support the Nigeria First initiative. Just like you said, this is not the first time we're trying things like this. And just in the recent past, I don't know whether it is under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's administration, where made in Nigeria, you remember that mantra, made in Nigeria, made in Nigeria, made in Nigeria, and we'll keep on singing all those things. And during, I think during Buhari or so, there is also the 41 item, later became 43 item ban. From all of these things are different initiatives geared towards
this same idea,
utilizing, buying what is made in Nigeria, what is available in Nigeria before looking elsewhere. So the brain or the objective is one. And the objective is all about preserving FX, you know, foreign exchange for Nigeria, making sure that our foreign exchange are used for what, those things that are, can I say, those things that are very important, ensuring that Nigerians get job, incentivizing local production and local players in different industries. And this is good.
It is, and it hasn't been this way. It remains to be seen. The president, as the Minister of Information said, is to sign an executive order that will give teeth to this whole idea. But it's not just with goods, also with services.
Okay.
You know, this also will be involved. All of this, as you said, is, you know, to save us a lot of forex, a lot of foreign exchange, and this is the way it should be. But let me just ask you, from your experience, what has militated against the success of this policy? The last time I saw something like that, when we were still assembling, or is it manufacturing or assembly Peugeot vehicles, that was in the military regime, as I remember it. Even the head of state at the time was seen in a Peugeot vehicle because it had been made in Nigeria. But some of those head of state, let me remember President Obasanjo, you know, proper in particular, he did the low profile when that one was in vogue. But then when he transformed, I was surprised the first time I saw that, oh, Baba has also joined the whole top, you know, pecking order of whatever the fashionable, you know, car happened to be at the time. So what do you think has militated against this, the success of this? Is it that it wasn't concretized with law, so that anybody who didn't play along, so to speak, would be going against the law? It was left to people's discretion. What would you say has been the factor that had militated against the adoption of this? Because it makes sense, doesn't it? Apart from our ego of I want foreign made.
No, yeah, what has militated it is, against it is, well, if you say law, how many things do we have in the law, on our Nigerian law, that we keep on breaching every day? Like I said, I started saying that when you copy, you paste special. There's always what I can call a demonstration effect. Okay. You know, if a son naturally want to do what the father is doing, a student naturally want to dress the way the teacher is dressing. Even in Nigerian Christendom, you see a lot of churchgoers wanting to do their hair, dress the way their general overseer.
Image themselves after their pastor.
It's a natural,
the spiritual
phenomenon.
father.
So if our leaders, from the president to the National Assembly, to the State Assembly, to the governors, their appetite is on this, let me drive the type of vehicle that American president is driving and all those things, every other person, including the guy walking on the street,
will begin to aspire in that direction.
So it's a demonstration effect. That is why I said that charity begins at home. Beyond signing 1 or 2 page executive order with that beautiful signature, sir, if we want to enforce this, let's even start from government circle. At least government can legislate the ministries, MDAs and whatever, and say that, hey, going forward, Ministry of Education, all the government schools, and there are many, start wearing uniform from the fabrics, Nigerian-made fabrics, and checkmate China from copying and bringing it in one way or the other. You know, as you're also doing that, you find out that our ministers and all their aid, you know, the clothes they wear for national events are not the ties and suit and Rolex watch and all those things. Things that are made. Just look at the beautiful cap you're putting. I wish it's made in Abeokuta. I served in Abeokuta Itoku market in those days. You will see.
You have intelligence information. For you to narrow it down like that.
You know, so unfortunately the one I'm wearing is from, so all of us will copy. We want to boast Nigeria. And like you said before, both goods and services. You know, so the next time government want to buy vehicles, either utility cars or executive cars or whatever, let it be. You know, we appreciate the fact that some of them will need to be in a bulletproof car. And who says that a bulletproof car cannot be made in Nigeria?
Indeed.
And it will become, when they now see you driving the best of Toyota or Mercedes from Japan or from Germany, we isolate you because you are not patriotic. That's how to show this patriotism, because the Nigerian first mantra should be driven by patriotism, the weight of patriotism by Nigerians, but not the ones on the street, by our leaders, privileged leaders that we have elected, that we have appointed. And as that is happening, you see the MD of banks, MD of multinationals, of MSMEs copying. The thing will just cascade to the lowest man on the street.
Even if they want to say that there's precious little to copy, at least you can show your patriotism that this is an idea. You might be able to afford well beyond what is available locally, but it's a mental concept that, look, nevertheless, I owe it, because the statement says, if there is any business to be done by anybody, the priority will be Nigeria first of all. Any local content, you know, if you have any local content, there is no reason for you to go outside the country to import. Now that there is a form of an executive, in the form of an executive bill. I'm
not taking words from your mouth, which means any Nigerian, especially government-paid trip, they're traveling to UK. At least we have airpiece that travels to, they have to follow UK, because both goods and what? And services. You know, you are sick. You are treated by Nigerian doctors and in Nigerian hospital, except if it is something that is practically not available to be done in Nigeria.
Exactly. That proviso is there, that except it can be proven that there is no substitute.
And you know, the process of proving it is even long and can so on behind the envelope is a wonderful and precious initiative, and I connect with it, and I know Nigerians will connect with it. The only thing that we militate and has militated against similar programs and initiatives are the inability of leaders at small level, middle level, and the highest level to live according to their words. So my own is, let's move from words of mouth to action, and we're going to see results. Nigerians are always ready to copy, and it's not difficult to rule Nigerians. This had better pass my neighbor mentality, where all of us are rushing to buy the best out there, spending the scarce resources, which is our FX. We need to moderate it. We have Dangote refinery now pumping, you know. What will this policy do to ensure that the ongoing importation that is still going on?
Yes.
Why Dangote refinery have started?
You have to, somebody has to explain it. Stop immediately.
You know, because these are practical. We've seen situations where the former NNPC, before this new administration of NNPC, were almost competing with Dangote refinery, which is Nigeria's own.
And that's apart from, just mentioning the name Dangote reminded me of Dangote sugar as well.
Okay.
I understand that they are still importing sugar. I think all of this under the guise of a free market, economy.
Our leaders, are they ready to buy Abba-made wristwatch and Abba-made shoe? Abba have been renowned as a shoe hub for West Africa.
Yes.
The one I'm wearing here is from Abba. You will not know if they are not told.
There you go.
Over the last 5 years, I've not put on any foreign-made shoes.
That's because you set it as a mental policy.
Exactly.
And this is what they are saying, you know, the leaders, the formulators of this policy are saying, every Nigerian needs to imbibe. We can't forever be looking. Look, you probably are aware, there's a whole crisis in the high fashion industry where MS bags and all of that, you know, that were being sold for what? Something like 1,000, anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 markup.
Louis Vuitton, all those,
meanwhile, all these things are made in China. But this whole concept, so it's not just Nigeria. Everybody wants the I better pass my neighbor. I think that's what the fashion luxury business is all about. That this bag, it's an MS bag, it cost me $10,000. And the Chinese are saying, hey, it is so what? We make it. And if you want, come and meet us. We can do it for something like $115, never mind $10,000. That is causing its own problem. You know, I don't know what the women are going to do now, whether they're going to, you know, confront it and say that it is what it is, or as you said, begin to patronize leather goods. In this case, we're talking about that, leather goods from their whole area. But there seems to be a psychological area to it. You have just said that you look at my shoes, they were made in Nigeria. Now, what do you think about certain aspects of this policy where people, you know, there are those who say, if you need to copy, go ahead and copy in the first instance. But if people say, but they're copying us, go and develop your own entirely. Don't come and copy us. how does that work? Either in what we're talking about, or we go to more concrete areas such as, for example, pharmaceuticals. How do we navigate ourselves?
Yeah, like I said, this policy and the drivers of this policy...
One second, sir. Okay. A caller has just called in. Right. Let me not keep him waiting. Good morning. Is it caller in Ojo? Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Caller.
Good morning.
Okay, we've been waiting for you. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Can you hear us? We are waiting for you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please carry on.
That is not the first time we are having such a statement from
the authorities.
Government.
Yep. You're right.
President Olusegun Obasanjo did immediately he left government. They started violating the order. Except a legislation is put in place. If legislation is put in place, it will not work. Immediately this government will leave government, they will reintroduce it. Why can't we go for innocence? Why can't we revive Volkswagen of Nigeria? Why can't we revive the Church of Nigeria? Where we will have our children roaming the streets now, who are qualified as an engineer, as a biological student on chemical engineering. We go there through their service here. They will go there. They will do their youth corps there. They will learn what we call engineering solution.
Yes, sir.
By calibrating of steel.
I get you.
When you make steel, you put it in chemical so that you will prevent rusting.
All right. Thank you very much for calling in, sir. Really appreciate your call. It is the innocents of this world, really, that are going to benefit from this mostly. You mentioned Dangote that time. Let them stop trying to compete with Dangote by importing foreign but identical goods with the one Dangote is producing. Now this, and then I think you had mentioned Innocent. I really thank God for people like Innocent, because now this is going to be their summer period, coming out of the winter, where they can hardly move stock, because Nigerians that can ill afford it would rather go through the pains of sourcing money so that they can bring in a foreign car or SUV, or go and buy an old one, so far it has a foreign brand logo on it. So I imagine that not everybody is going to be happy with this, but if you're going to be patriotic about it, and if you understand the metrics, then we don't really have a choice as a people but to follow the lead of the federal government in saying Nigeria first.
And if this administration really want to turn the tide in all this, there's hunger, tough economy.
Sorry, sir. That gentleman talked about unless there is legislation. They are working on that.
Yes, there is legislation, but I still believe that legislation is just the starting point.
Okay.
As we are doing all these things, the government, and I needed to mention that before, that the people working for this government should go and do their homework to even itemize thousands or millions of things that can be gotten here. We want to know what are those things that are available here.
Okay.
Even if they are substandard, we want a situation where government or government-related occasions, nobody wear anything that's made abroad into those places. Maybe it's only eyeglass, maybe.
Yeah.
But if it is cloth or shoe or this thing, can you imagine what will happen to our apparels and shoe and leather sector because of the trickle-down effect?
Obasanjo tried it.
And it will take less than 3 months for us to feel the positives.
And adjust ourselves if there are any pains.
The Dangote and the Innocent are even too big to mention. The man on the street, will benefit very quickly.
Indeed.
Very quickly, if you put money in their pockets.
Put Nigeria first. Elder AK in Potakut. Good morning to you, sir. Elder AK? Elder AK in Potakut. Good morning to you, sir.
Hello.
We've been waiting for you.
Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You see, I'm so much happy. I'm happy for what the president is doing. Yeah. President is trying to encourage locally made things from Nigeria. It's very, very important.
It is.
Our president is doing fine. See, I'm in Nigeria. I love Nigerian products. Let us encourage Nigerians who are producing something. Now, the most important thing now that is worrying on some companies that are producing something in Nigeria, they are not on again. Let our president encourage them, open some companies, open textile industries, open manufacturing companies, so that all these youths that are roaming about in the field can get jobs to do. It's very, very important.
It is.
Nigerian products, we have reached that stage that we produce something. We have engineers, we have doctors, we have everything. So we have reached that stage. Our people produce something.
All right.
China started gradually before they become what they are today.
That's
Nigeria
right.
have reached that stage that will produce something. So
Indeed.
let us encourage our Nigerian made goods.
Thank you very much.
You so much.
Thank you so much, Elder AK in Port Harcourt, for that vote of confidence. In fact, I remember a much younger reporter at the time, Obasanjo's last year as a military head of state. He had a state dinner. You know, the menu was 100% Nigerian. You couldn't order anything fancy such as you might see in, you know, in a menu from Sheraton or whatever, Hilton, whatever.
You've taken it down to the table and the plate.
Benny.
That is what we're saying.
You couldn't order anything that is not Nigerian in this particular menu.
Let's even start with small school uniform.
There you go.
The shoe, the military uniform, the shoe of the military or police or paramilitary. All those little things can go a long way.
You know, there are some...
But governments need to, and their ministers and their DG need to live by example. Once they do it 2-3 months and we find out they are serious,
yes.
the way goes to country well aware, complete.
Every day. I don't think anybody has seen that woman in a Western suit.
I have never seen. Maybe that would be our wedding. I don't know. And that was,
this is the image she chooses to flaunt.
That's what we want to see.
To flaunt the beautiful Nigerian image. You're very, very right. So people, there's much to be commended in this whole idea. But you said something tremendously important. People need to. What was that? That syndrome of following your leader or whatever.
Demonstration effect.
The demonstration effect.
That one is stronger than the legislation we're talking about.
I agree.
Far stronger.
If you see that my leader or those who we look up to are doing it, what business do you have not doing it? You know, there are stations where you are not allowed to come in, be an on-air presenter in a suit, in a Western suit. There's nothing wrong with it. It just is. This is not the House policy, if I remember correctly. At least there are two. I remember AIT, and I think I remember what's it called now? NTA. You know, I think the first television station. You could be, if you're a guest, please come as you want. But if you are of the house, it is house policy. Whether you're a lady, whether you're a man, you will project Nigeria. And I understand there's the whole idea of, hey, it doesn't mean I can't project Nigeria in a suit. Yes, nobody's arguing the point. But there's another matter here. We can't forever be leaning on other people to help us out when we can so much help ourselves out if only we set our minds to it. And I think that's going to be, how do you sell this to the people that, guys, you don't really have a choice, you know, because you are Nigerian first. And we are saying everything we do, put Nigeria first. You would probably agree with that, but are you apprehensive that there might be any area, because there's so much to be gained from this whole new policy, especially in conserving the precious foreign exchange that we don't have?
The beauty of this administration is that everything they set out to do, whether it is good or bad, they have always had their way.
I don't think there are any bad ones.
Well,
I don't think there are any bad ones.
From your perspective, but there are some,
okay.
whether it is perceived good or bad, they had their way.
Okay. The
so they have
whatever.
that political will to implement whatever they want to implement. Now, having said that, look at the tax reform. As tough as that is,
yes,
they pulled their way through engagement, through legislation, and we have it. It was that is one of the most difficult
ones to achieve.
Yeah. So if they have done that, this one is even a very, very, very little. Indeed. This administration have what it takes, the stakeholder engagement, I don't know. They have, that is the science, their science is top notch. Without wasting so much time, they know how to rally the key stakeholders and how to make it good, So the top executives in the country, the activists, the religious leaders, the traditional rulers, all of them, they need to galvanize them into this thing. While we're working out the paperwork and the legislature, they need to galvanize everybody at the same so that it will become everybody talking about it. I think everybody talking about it. Before you know what is happening, somebody is producing a solar panel or solar something. You say, everybody, go there. Go there. As we are, So it patronize will have Nigeria. A vibrating effect. But like I said before, charity begins at home. Our leaders have to lead well. We want to see a situation where they now say, we are beginning to sell our Chinese made SUV or UK made SUV, and we are picking in Austin and more is coming. Those are the things we want to hear. Yes. And very, very fast while the law is being processed.
All those other ones, the Korean vehicles and all of that, of course, if I think what America did is that, look, come and establish a plant here, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. Good morning, Mr. George. Sorry for holding you up for a bit. Please go ahead now.
Okay, Uncle Yari, good morning and good morning to your guest.
Yes, thank you very much.
The policy that we are talking about is a step in the right direction. But if you ask me, I would say that the president should not make it a law yet. Let the federal government itself, first of all, practicalize it. What do I mean? We have a Nigerian in the East that is producing good cars. I have used the buses that you said for these commercial bus companies. They rank with Toyota car and Toyota buses. Let every minister, every government appointee be using cars made by that company. The government, the Minister of Trade, and even empowered the producer of those cars for the purpose of sufficient distribution to those who need it in our country. The man has capacity. Let every federal government appointee be using those cars. Since the president and governors must use bulletproof cars, in the course of time, the man, when he is empowered, he can produce bulletproof cars for even the president and the governors to use. Let's start from there. Okay. Then other things will follow in due course. If you just make the executive order and people do not see you executing it at your own end as the AK Potakut, we shouldn't be making laws that cannot work. Okay. It's just like banning rice, that people should not bring in foreign rice. But we don't have sufficient production of rice in our country. We don't have protectionist laws for manufacturers of rice, so that when they produce rice, it will be first given priority in our markets. We have not done that. It's not possible to execute certain policies if the enabling environment is not first provided. This is the point I'm making. Indeed. All other issues will fall in place if the government that is making the law demonstrates its faith, with its own example. That's the way it can work. But it's a very good policy. If we follow it, our economy will improve, it becomes stronger, our employment people will have work to do. That's my view.
Thank you very much for indeed sharing it with us, Mr. George. You heard him. You comment. Let me take a quick break so that you won't be interrupted. Do stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
In a world where news never sleeps, we're taking a giant leap into the future. We at TVC Communications are proud to introduce a new era in news broadcasting. But first, let me introduce my special friend, Olamide AI. Hi, Olamide Human. Is it time to come out yet? Yes, indeed it is. And you can bring your friends along. Meet our new AI anchors, speaking your language and sharing your stories. From English, good day. These are the news headlines, to Pidgin.
Better country people, on a good evening.
Yoruba.
Ekaro, Ekodede Asikoyi, Shedadalabayi.
Igbo.
Ndewo, Auto Innovation. Ahambu Obada Samson Ejiro.
And Hausa.
Mutane na sanar da zuwa, sunana Raki Abdulkarim kuma kana kallon TVC News.
We are bringing the news closer to you, faster, smarter, and always reliable. And together, we are shaping the future of news for every Nigerian, everywhere. Innovation, connection, and trust. The future of news is here.
TVC News, first with breaking news. And now first in Nigeria with AI news anchors.
Okay, then welcome back. I was just mad because Vincent and I were speaking of AI, and that we referred back to the day that I referred to, where in President Obasanjo's day as head of state, it was his last year as head of state. There was going to be a state dinner. Everybody was invited. The menu was 100% Nigerian. If you like, in that particular menu, I remember Agidi, that is Echo, and therefore...
They were going.
That was the only
if
thing.
If you like Chinese rice, all those English
go to a Chinese
go to
restaurant
your house and eat
or go to your house, you know. Akin, Mr. Akin in Akut, let me take you on. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
Now that the president has banned all locally produced goods, they have banned it from importation. Now, the government should take proper position.
No, he hasn't banned locally produced goods, though. No. He hasn't. I understand what you are saying. He has banned foreign goods.
Locally produced
He's promoting locally produced goods. Okay, sir.
Yes, we have innocent vehicles.
Yes.
They bought cars for legislators, for expensive ones.
Yes.
They should direct all state government to be patronizing this company. Why are they? They are not taking they are not taking the charge, and they are asking people to do. They should patronize the man that is producing cars locally here. That's why how we can grow. I mean, that's it. Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Yes. You heard his suggestion, but the thing is, for example, he mentioned legislators. Since they will ask them amongst themselves, those are the ones that will vote convincingly for a Toyota. All those in favor of a Toyota say aye, there will be drowning noise.
Before they will even say hi, they've already passed it.
So this is the situation that we have. But when we look at the sheer potential of this to wake up or further jolt our economy positively, if only we could go this way. And as you said, the key seems to be let government show its seriousness of purpose, not just talking. Then everybody will see it, and maybe they will be astounded first and then know that I don't have a choice now. I must follow.
If I'm asked to begin to catalog all the things that we need to do to support this thing, you find out that this is the policy that will have the quickest positive effect, and outcome will be well celebrated.
We are busy eating our leather in Pomo.
Like I said before, even in the consultancy world,
people prefer foreign consultants.
Yes, the foreign architect to draw our road, to draw the airport, to foreign architect for tax verification for one report or the other. We spend almost 0.3% of our total budget on paying foreign consultants in Nigeria.
So is it that people don't?
We have the skills here.
I was going to say,
we have the skills here. We have the consultants, whether it's in the economy, whether it's in tax, whether it's they're in architecture, whether they're in medicine, to patronize moving forward. Some of them are even abroad. Give them this one; it comes cheap. Two, when you give it to, when they get it, it will help them to develop more skill because they will have some technical partner. But most important thing is that they also have use that to either purchase here or develop or establish something. So the value chain of this Made in Nigeria First or Buy Nigeria First initiative or Make Nigeria Great Again initiative is phenomenal.
Indeed.
But the only power to it is live by example, set example, president, governor set example, ministers, DGs set example.
Everybody.
And sustain that example.
Everybody has
Once
to be
that example is credible, all of us will fall through.
You know, because this thing, I think it's a matter of the way you set your heart or your mind about this whole matter. Take all our public officials now. If there were to be a law that whether you like it or not, by force, you must all appear, you must all wear Western suits, most of them will be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Say, but why now?
This place is too hot.
I mean, this is not me. I don't feel good. How do we get it to people saying that same thing about the rest of our lives? That, look, because the policy says that this is seeking to foster a new business culture that will be bold, confident, and also very, very Nigerian. That's the most important thing. If we can just remember to put Nigeria at the top of it all. There's a lot of work, but it has this rallying cry of Nigeria first.
Why should people working in Nigerian bank be wearing suit to work?
I don't know if you see that in Saudi Arabia, for instance.
No,
but if you go to Saudi Arabia, you see the banking. Everybody is wearing their traditional dress.
Even the taxi driver.
Everybody is.
You see people in the skyscraper working. Those are the ones that wear the engineering suit.
I think there's a call. Dayo in Ipaja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please. Please go ahead, Dayo. Did you hear me? Go ahead.
This morning show.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Please go ahead. Hello, Dayo. Go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please, I love the program you people are doing now.
We are waiting for you, Dayo.
Good morning, sir.
We are waiting for you. Good morning, sir. We have said that. You started off by saying you love the program. Go forward.
The program is okay. But the only thing is that the government should now
okay, Dayo, thank you very much for calling in, Dayo. I don't know, Dayo will speak a little and then, I don't know whether he's expecting to hear himself. And I think what Dayo was going to say is what you have been saying, which is that, look, this policy, its success or failure really rests on those who have introduced it, or shall I say, who have reintroduced it. If it can be shown that this time we mean business, we really must make, Nigeria first in the center of. If there's any money, public money, if there's public money to be spent, it must be Nigeria first, whatever it is, unless it can be proved that that one is not available. And even so, there will have to be copious amounts of documentation to prove it. And then with a whole backward integration aspect to it, say, okay, we have to go there whether we like it or not. But let people be watching out. You spoke about consultancy and the penchant of our people for foreign consultants.
It's only consultancy. Trainings that can be run in Nigeria. Our people prefer to go and do it abroad. You are going to look for money for visa, you are going to fly, you are going to pay everything in dollar, the hall, the food over there. Most of the agencies, I don't want to start calling their names there. If you look at the budget in their district, these are foreign trainings, training that can be done here. Of course, I know that some trainings, you need to do it abroad, but training that can be done here, some of them even go abroad there to train on the opportunities in the Nigerian economy. Mm-hmm. The title of the training, Opportunities in the Nigerian Economy, but they have flight from Nigeria to UK to go and do that training.
Yeah.
Sometimes the president they wait for the president to travel, the governor to travel before the delegation will move from Nigeria to go and see him there to discuss a matter of urgent importance for Nigeria and Nigerians.
No, these things have to change.
So these are part of the made in Nigeria first we should be looking at.
It is
it's
going
not
to
just
change.
Goods and services, all this lifestyle.
You're right.
Things that can be discussed in Nigeria by Nigerians, they have to fly abroad to go and discuss it there and fly back.
You know, even
rascality.
This will affect all areas of our life, even education, the economy. But are you not? You note that I forget the name of the school now, but there's a secondary school coming in from the UK. Its fees are unheard of in Nigeria, but it is here in Nigeria. No kid will need a visa to go there if your parent can afford it. So it is even more than paying for accommodation, for transportation, for everything for a kid to the UK. The Nigerian one is even more expensive self. But at least let people make the choice. It's not the only school available. So maybe these ones, those kind of schools had, they had this provision, and I've said, you know what? Nigeria might come up one day with something like this. So let's move this whole concept. Let's move it to Nigeria. Again, that is okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
If there's a scarce,
in every environment, there is always ostentatious goods.
Yes.
You cannot take it away. In elementary economies, ostentatious goods are those goods consumed by the rich with the aim of distinguishing themselves.
Yeah.
That they've made it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not that the other goods are not quality or they are unhealthy, but they are ostentatious goods.
There must be some differentiation.
So we give it to them, but we're talking about the majority of Nigerians. Out of the 250 million Nigerians, at least, even if it's 100 million poor and semi-poor that are benefiting from buying things in Nigeria by copying the rich that they are buying. These rich are super rich. And that is why I say that for this new initiative to succeed and succeed very fast, this administration need to demonstrate their strength and their successes in carrying people along. I've seen the religious leaders, all this suit on the altar, change it to Nigeria. The bank MDs and their directors.
Let them do so proudly.
The multinational companies, all those leaders. When I say leaders, it's not just government and the governors and whatever. But these are also leaders
across the board in our society.
Of our pastors, and you see this.
Although some of them are Nigerian, some of them they portray Nigeria.
Yes,
although
they can do more.
They can do more because they might portray Nigeria and also portray the West. It is their right. But what we're saying is that let the government let it lead with, let it go first. Let it show that this is a thing that we believe in and we're going to make work.
The furniture they're sitting on.
Kingsley in Asaba, we lost your call. See if you can call in again. Thank you very much, Kingsley. Yes. So it's a mental concept actually, more than anything else.
Do you know that their furniture, the mattress, that's the mattress they sleep on, all of those things are imported the way, you know how big furniture is. They fly them into this country,
which is not going to happen again.
Ship to deliver it.
Turkey is
them into cargo ships.
It is Turkey that is enjoying all of that. There are Turkish, of course. Turkey has a name in furniture making, and then there are Chinese and Vietnamese. All of these things are there. Yet we have cabinet makers locally. So these are the people. As I said, it has become summer for them. Once the government supports them by putting its money where its mouth is. And it is seen that Nigeria is... Reverend Dominic, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Yori. Good morning to your guests.
Indeed, thank you.
Yori, there's irony in our governance here that caused the pain and the what we're discussing today.
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
sir. Sorry.
Government has no business in government.
Okay.
We miss it.
Okay.
Yori, your guest said that even school uniform is a little thing. No, Yori, I can't hear you, but let me continue.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, but you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, let me say this. Yori, school opened up last week or last 2 weeks. We have primary, secondary school pupils, 40 million of them. Those 40 million pupils are wearing uniforms. 40 million, where is the uniform coming from? From China. Will you imagine if Nigerian textile mill produce 40 million yards of clothes? If a people is using 1 or 2 yards of clothes, could you imagine we are going to produce 80 million yards of clothes? Could you know the ripple effect in Nigerian economy?
You're very
so
right.
What we're saying here is just supposed to be a policy. It's just supposed to be a policy, it's supposed to be a character of a nation. If Mr. President will say today, all ministers, all governors, all the senators, we're going to wear made in Nigeria. It's going to be a character, not a policy. Nigeria will follow suit. We have made this policy before. Yori, we mentioned Okonjo-Iweala. Do you know the idea of Okonjo-Iweala? That woman wears Nigeria Ankara, but that Ankara is made in China. Unfortunately, it wears Ankara, supposed to be Nigeria, but that Ankara was made in China. The issue is that that's the challenge we have here. The issue is that China have even taken Ankara that's supposed to be an African print, Nigerian print, and China is producing the biggest Ankara today in the world. If this policy could be followed through, it's a good policy. But I don't want it to be a policy like George said. Let it be a lifestyle of a government, of a people. It will work better. Let me tell you this. Last administration by Buhari closed our border for almost 1 year, or if not more than 1 year. What did come out of it? We closed that border so we can produce our local food. Then we are still importing food from Cotonou. The issue is not about policy. It's about character and the strong will of a government. This is where we go. And if we do that, we put up our nations for turnaround. Thank you. Let me give someone the opportunity to talk.
Thank you very much, Reverend. Unfortunately, the Reverend couldn't hear us. I was going to ask him how he divides his time on the pulpit. Is it 50% Nigerian and 50% Western? But he was making the more important point about, textile mills. The textile mills have gone comatose, yet we must all wear clothes. He also made the additional point that I think he probably has it on good authority that the Chinese have come in, looked at our designs, know that this is what Nigerians want, and have started to make it. But I do know that there are some other printers, textile manufacturers, unless they also have been saying textile manufacturers, maybe some of them are Chinese. Maybe they allowed them to set up textile operations. But this is a win-win policy.
Yeah, and in textiles, I think because if you want to be alive, you have to live in a house, you have to wear clothes, you have to eat 3 basic stuff. So these things that are around these 3 basic stuff, especially what to wear, government may need to make some investment by incentivizing. I didn't say they should give somebody money to go and establish and become. Government does not have any hand in business, but they need to have some friendly business environment around textiles, around shoe and shoemaking.
But what happened to our cotton complex, our cotton agriculture, cotton manufacturing, cotton?
Everything was sinking in Nigeria. That also sink. It's not just cotton. Everything, even the quality of cotton we now produce in Nigeria is probably one of the least in the world. I've tested it when I want to dive into that. So, but it's better late than never.
We have to.
Like one of the callers says, is the national consciousness. And the consciousness is not just going to be led by the National Orientation Agency making noise in the television and wasting, what's it called, airtime. They should live with it. We will see it. You don't need to announce anything in the jungle. We don't need jingles.
If you were to just
live, we will see it.
Mazi Okoro, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Honestly speaking, the bank very, very welcome development because 1, it will create employment in Nigeria. 2, it will help our local industries to stop. 3, Nigerians, local government authorities, states should do what? Start harnessing the resources they have in their place, not depending on the federal government. Number 4, it will now help. Thank God for the world president, President Trump, that is going on. The policy is coming and teaching us. And it should make Nigeria satisfy ourselves with locally made products. This issue of depending on foreign goods, you see, most of these foreign goods, that is what is making the number of cancers increase in Nigeria. But I will tell the federal government, some of these drugs that they produce outside, let the federal government tell us what I'm supposed to say.
Oh. something happened. Well, but at least
made a lot of points.
Yes, he did make a lot of points, and nobody's against this apart from. And even Mr. George, who called in, wasn't even against it. He was just saying that, look, you have to make it work. That's the most important thing. So if you haven't provided an alternative, you can't go about. I was just going to say that even on a casual level, you know, there's a lot of business going on these on the apps, these telephone apps, and you see that there's nothing you want to buy that you really can't get. But all of the most of the textile materials that are seen, even the ones that are inherently Nigerian, because they are Nigerian tie and dye, Nigerian batik and all of that, it's still put on textiles that have been imported. And they will advertise it as such. Yeah. They will say this one is, even Ankara, they will say this one is big Ankara. This one is big batik. It is not Nigerian zone that they are calling, it is the foreign one they are calling big adire. So we thank you, Mr. President, and your team for bringing up this idea, but then we've got to work this thing. Exactly. And that's where the ball goes back into their course. Exactly. We need to be hearing from them.
Another last point I want to, maybe one of the last points I want to mention.
Well, just room for one last point.
Only one last point is that we also need to look at STR, all this certificate or approval for foreigners to come and work in Nigeria. All this low work, including loading trade last year that we're seeing the Chinese and whatever doing here, need to stop. Nigeria also need to regulate employment for expatriates that are working in Nigeria.
You mean you have some foreigners loading
even
trucks?
Working as salespeople, working as cashier, working as accountant.
But you must have the work permits for those things.
Exactly. So regulating that work permit to ensure that it is, though if Nigerians can do those work, foreigners doesn't need to come here to do those work. We see them everywhere, and that is making Nigerians that should be hired not to be hired. They sit at home, and we know the implication of unemployment in this country.
Well, Vincent, I want to thank you very much for coming on and airing this very important subject with us. Mr. Vincent Nwani is an economist, and he's also, you know, economist and I think
investment consultant.
Thank you very much, sir. Investment consultant, where they are worrying you by also inviting, you know, foreign ones to come and be competing with you. Leave these Nigerians to do their work. Thank you very much for coming in.
It is nice being with you, my brother.
My pleasure. Okay, so that's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow for another subject. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.